The New York Times is reporting that ActBlue, if you don't know ActBlue is the premier Democrat political action committee. The New York Times is reporting that ActBlue is officially unraveling. It's happening, gang. They are according to the New York Times report, ActBlue is in, quote, turmoil. It's experiencing mass resignations. 7 of their top executives have all left in the past 3 weeks. None of them will even remotely explain on record why they left. 2 unions representing ActBlue employees, they're questioning the group's stability and viability, and they're calling the situation, quote, alarming. The last remaining lawyer at ActBlue's general counsel's office has been locked out of his email and put on leave after sending internal messages that basically accuse ActBlue employees of mass fraud. I mean, gang, it's literally imploding in on itself. And it isn't a coincidence that ActBlue, again, the #1 Democrat political action committee, it is not a coincidence that ActBlue is imploding within weeks after what plug got pulled. After just weeks after USAID funds were cut. And we now know ActBlue was getting our tax dollars. Again, I really like what Peter St. Onge observed. Elon agreed in retweeting this tweet that one of the most exciting aspects of Doge is how it all suggests the entire political facade of the radical left is actually fake. You know, we tend to think of the left as being in power and being formidable, but it's actually all been a farce. It's all tax-funded astroturf, meaning that for any country in the world, all you got to do is get a populist government to win one time, then Doge your government and the entire left simply vanishes. But first, gang, now that Fauci has been pardoned, RFK is obviously going to unearth what most of us already knew about the pandemic. It's so sad this effort won't help the tens of millions who've never felt the same after getting the virus or the mRNA shots. We all know someone with a personal story. Pfizer's been forced to release a detailed list of side effects associated with the COVID-19 shots. And a common concern among those side effects is what's called long COVID syndrome. It's a condition that leaves people feeling brain fog and chronic fatigue and shortness of breath, lingering for months, in some cases years. Well, the good news is that the wellness company is here to help with their new long COVID syndrome support. You get 4 doctor-formulated nutraceuticals with 5 to 8 plants and minerals in each bottle designed to address the root causes. Ultimate spike detox, mind lift, elevated energy, and healthy heart. Dr. McCullough recommends a durable recovery through holistic health, with COVID syndrome support being an essential part of that. So right now, you can save $40 off on the bundle plus free shipping. Just click on that link below or head on over to twc.health/Turley and use code Turley to take action today for a healthier tomorrow. That's twc.health/Turley. Isn't it interesting that now that the gravy train has been cut off, isn't it interesting that there were so many layoffs at all these various legacy media outlets? Joy Reid, Lester Holt, Jim Acosta, Chuck Todd, Don Lemon, even Rachel Maddow's staff has been slashed. I mean, we've never seen anything even remotely like this. And now we're seeing the whole web of NGOs like Soros's Open Society Foundations getting completely dismantled. Remember, Soros has actually had to basically stop all operations in Europe. It's incredible. I think Aesthetica said it best. Quote, "What we're finding out in real time is the entire modern left is just smoke and mirrors. There is no left-wing voter base. All the elections are rigged and fake. All the liberal outlets, media outlets, have no audience and are kept alive by USAID funding. All their politicians and political pundits are paid by USAID to say what the government wants. The whole thing was a house of cards." We talked about this on one of our videos yesterday, but Sociologists have actually long studied the characteristics that are exemplative of a dying social movement, right? You can actually recognize when a mass movement is dying. And when you compare those characteristics that sociologists have identified to what's happening right now with the Democrats, I mean, I think there's no other way of concluding, but the Democrat Party does look like it's in a death spiral right now. It's in a doom loop. I mean, first and foremost, dying social movements obviously experience a mass loss in membership, right? Which is exactly what we've been seeing with the Democrats over the last year, interestingly enough. Voter registration tallies in literally all 50 states show that while Republicans are gaining in voter registration, the Democrats are hemorrhaging. Over the course of the last year, in virtually every single state of the union, the Democrats have been experiencing a net loss of voter registration as compared to the Republicans. But in addition to a loss of participation, a dying social movement evidences, secondly, a significant reduction in public attention. Nobody pays it any attention anymore, meaning that the movement, of course, struggles to draw attention to its cause, and therefore it can't advance. And again, I think of what the entire nation has been seeing and witness to with all of these cringe political stunts and public relations embarrassments over the course of this week. It's a sign of desperation. It's a sign of a sense that nobody is paying them any attention anymore. But then thirdly, dying social movements become bereft of any real leadership. This is very interesting. So a movement simply cannot survive without viable, vital leadership, a leadership that galvanizes, organizes, and effectively represents and advances the movement and its causes. And it's widely recognized. The Democrats are completely leaderless at the moment. In fact, Tim Walz, if you don't remember, that was Kamala Harris's running mate on the ticket who got 15 minutes of fame. He was asked point blank on CNN, who's the leader of the Democrat Party right now? And he said he has no idea. He said he actually said the voters. I think the voters are the leaders of the party now. In other words, there is no leader. There is no head. So nobody's paying them any attention. Their membership is drying up. They have no leadership. And then finally, dying social movements actually end up losing all relevance in terms of any viable issues, which we've already talked about extensively. We're going through a massive political paradigm shift where the liberal globalist consensus, as represented by the Democrats, is being replaced by a new supermajority centered on America First, MAGA populism, leaving the Democrats completely out in the cold. All of this is to say, gang, the outcomes from this week could not have possibly been more stark. It really was a tale of two cities, a tale of two politics. Trump and the Republicans are more powerful and stronger than ever before, all the while the Democrats have descended into absolute and total lunacy. By the way, click on the link in the description below to get all these articles and tweets I reference throughout my videos emailed to you each and every day. You're going to love it. We want you to have the best resources out there to convince your family and your friends of this new MAGA super age that's rising here.